that is the consensus which has emerged over the last couple of decades. Now the issue of sustainability is closely akin to the issue of changing weather and environment. We produce material and use material for production and for other purposes, which is thrown away. 1% of all plastic is recycled in Pakistan. Globally, only 9% of the plastic is recycled. Where the rest goes? To the rivers and the streams and the oceans and in human stomachs and in the fish food and recycled as a carcinogenic material and other bad things. And that is a big hazard. That is the reason that the companies who have some semblance with their brand have come up to the point where they are concerned about recycling and take recycling as a sustainability issue. It would be strange that not very far away, it is the marketability of the product which was called sustainability. Now, use of these material is also part of responsible business. We have today with us a person who is a sustainability manager in a big multinational known in Pakistan as Packages, and obviously the company is
Tetra Pak.
Obviously, I'm sorry, with the Tetra Pak, and that is taking strides in recycling and all that, and they take it as sustainability. And I welcome our guest, Mohammed bin Shahzad. Very warm welcome.
Thank you, Tahir sir.
Please say something on this, what I've just said, and we'll rumble on.
So I think you have very rightly set the tone around the context and the reason that why we are here in this Sustainability Expo today. So as you mentioned, I am representing Tetra Pak, looking after the sustainability portfolio. And you might have heard about Tetra Pak's brand mission, that is to protect what's good, protect the people, planet, and the prosperity around it. So Tetra Pak carton is an excellent example of a sustainable packaging material that one can use to consume and fulfill their nutritional needs, and at the same time, when it is being disposed of as litter, it can be easily collected for recycling because it is designed for recycling. So Tetra Paks take pride in setting up a recycling ecosystem in Pakistan almost a decade ago when there were no discussions around sustainability. So we took this as a voluntary commitment and we started off creating the ecosystem around it, and that is paying off now. So I mean, this is an achievement that we are really proud of and humble about it, and very fortunate to also receive recognition from SDTV in this expo there, where we got a award on account of our recycling efforts, and at the same time raising consumer awareness around that.
I mean, if a very jam-packed road, sometimes it's become difficult to find your pathway and find a place even to rumble on if you are on a vehicle, in a car or bus or something. Supply chain is huge. Horizontally, it's huge. Do you find yourself to find your place difficult in overall supply chain in the country and in the industry?
I think you have very rightly pointed out the important thing, which is, I think, is the most complex problem of all. When we talk about specifically about the collection and recycling ecosystem, I think what is the missing link in here is that we have let's say huge lot of an informal sector that is kind of dictating the whole collection value chain, which is not kind of formalized. So what we need to do is that we need to support them through some policy measures and some mechanisms whereby they can get integrated into the semi-formal and formal streams, and from there they can contribute to the circular economy and betterment of society. So you are talking about the supply chain. When, let's say, you and me dispose of a packaging material, let's say any packaging material as a waste, who is there to pick it up? It's the informal sector. So we need to train them, educate them, give them the right to have the fair remuneration and being part of the system, the formal system, where they can contribute toward the betterment of the society. So I think this is something that we are advocating for on behalf of Tetra Pak, and in our advocacy efforts with the government, even in this conference as of today, where we tried to have some panel discussions and fireside chats, where we inculcated the same message that in order to create an inclusive and fair ecosystem which is based on the global best practices, we need to work together, and this will solve all issues regarding the supply chain disruptions and what you are referring to. Another thing that I also want to add is that in Pakistan, like other parts of the world, the price of the recycled product is higher than the virgin product. So one can never be, let's say, will be moving toward the recycled product if it is expensive. So we need to find the ways to make that feedstock less expensive or at par with the virgin feedstock, so that it can be inculcated in the product that we are making. And there are tools and means for that. And obviously, the policy enablers are extremely important into it.
Policy enabler, and also one must understand that if you built in the part of that differential into the initial price, and that is, if that is made mandatory, you can, I'm sure you know better than me, other means than me. But what about the narrative? Do you think the narrative has become, because social norms which we observe without any external pressure or some legal pressure is part of that narrative that we accepted as truth, and our peers also, society is groomed around, we don't want to lie. Even if we lied, we don't want to be registered as a liar and other bad things. We don't want to be indulged in bad immoral activities because. Do you think that the narrative around this sustainability and issue is establishing at a encouraging pace?
I think the narrative has to be set by us. The drive has to come from the inside of us. Now I feel that Pakistan.
For the industry or from the society?
For everybody in Pakistan, be it public sector, be it private sector, the drive has to come from within. And now, as we have faced very devastating floods back in 2022, and now we have also been struck in south of the Punjab on those account of floods, which are all those menaces on the climate change that has happened across the few years, and Pakistan is the first-hand witness to it. So we are not talking about some other countries getting affected by climate change. Pakistan is getting struck by it. So now, I mean, the awareness is there. We have been struck ourselves. So the drive is there, the intent is there, and now people are not just talking about the sustainability. They are now trying to create some mayas and system around that, so that we can actually walk the talk. And this is the reason these kind of platforms are very important, where all the entities have to come together, brainstorm, discuss ideas, solutions, and what we can do to create an impact. I mean, the small pilots, the things that we are doing around this has a good impact, but we need to work on some scalable solutions that can create an impact at a national level. And that can only be possible if multi-stakeholder alliance can come together and come to a consensus for a solution. No entity, be Tetra Pak or anybody else in the country, can solve the problem of the entire country. So we have to work in tandem to each other to make sure that the wheel moves in the right direction.
Do you think this last question, do you think this sustainability or recycling or responsibility around this can be built into a brand? And what is that? Because I knew that you worked for other organizations, and I named the other organization as well, because the brand was registered somewhere.
Yeah.
So if it becomes, or the big brands, names of the cars, and we know that a company which makes carburetors, that makes carburetor for Toyota and Mazda and Nissan and other, but the brand is the car name, and they've come to the standard. So do you think this sustainability and the recycling effort can be built as a major value in the brand?
Yes, very right. I am a strong advocate of that whatever the good that you do for the community, society at large, and for any country that you operate in, like for example, Tetra Pak is working in many of the countries around the world, not just in Pakistan. And the efforts that we are putting in just providing the safe and accessible milk to the masses through our package, which is also sustainable and recyclable, is something that is creating a good positive brand value for us. So it does not only help us in getting more resource efficient, saving on cost, but it also saving the planet as well, and that is obviously improving our investors' confidence, creating a brand equity for us, reducing our reliance on the changing commodity prices, which are obviously based on fossil fuels. So we are now focusing on relying on renewables and recyclable materials that we can inculcate in our supply chains to create a strong brand presence and value around it, and so is the case in Pakistan.
Yeah, thank you very much. It seems very encouraging. Not the big companies who are least bothered about profitability from the market. They don't have any pressure. Obviously, there's a competition, but they are doing very well at that end. As far as the business, they are concerned about this. They take it as a major component for their brand image. And I think that's a good thing. That is bottom up as well, because they are related to the consumer. And if you see the market leaders, in some way, that's a top down as well. So you can sandwich the major effect of narrative and all that. And I think that can, if continued in a sustainable way, that is also, they need sustainability for their efforts. I think that might yield good results. At least it brings hope. With this, we come to the end of the program. I'm your host, excuse me, Tahir Dinsha. I request you to keep watching our live transmission and visit our website, which is stpi.tv, and keep watching, and visit Allama Iqbal Open University, where this 4-day conference, today is the 3rd day, it's taking place. It's a very picturesque campus. Come visit and attend the session if possible, or join sessions online. With this, we come to the end of the program. Bye for now. Challenge.
Sure, it's clear.